who is the founder there, we met through one of the factories in China who was doing, basically he ordered a few thousand pair and sold a few Carmanguillas in order to pay for that, and the factory extended him credit, and then we got together with Eric and partnered with him and then helped him grow it even faster. So there are ways, don't be intimidated. And I think it's key for entrepreneurs to know that there'll be a lot of naysayers out there. And I've heard it with different brands. After buying UGG, when we were a public company, we paid about $16 million for it. It was $20 million in sales that we took down immediately to about $9 million or something like that. And I was chastised by all my investors. But I think as an entrepreneur, what you want to do is you have a passion and a belief. You understand what that need is and what the product is going to be used for that other people won't understand. And if you can sell that to somebody on the production side like you can sell it on the sales side, you'll go far. And I think now is a perfect time for entrepreneurs. I mean, we started in the recession of the 70s. Teva started in the recession of the 80s. UGG, even to that, bringing it over here was during that recession. And I think entrepreneurs are the ones, while everybody, all the larger companies right now are looking at their balance sheets, trying to figure out how they're going to stay in business. You've got all you, say, echo boomers that are coming out. You've got nothing to lose. And you know what you guys all want. And if you can develop something that you can use, you're going to find it before those other people that are worried about their balance sheets will. And then you'll become the next UGG or whatever it is.
Thank you so much for your question. I believe we have another question from this young lady. Please.
Thank you. This is more question on the building the successful marketing plan. Mm-hmm. I'm a new entrepreneur myself. I just acquired the business in the healthcare field, senior care. So it is a service-based business. Mm-hmm. And although I do have a degree, master's degree in business, and I studied a lot about marketing, how do you define building a successful marketing plan, and how do you actually overcome the fear of rejection or the fear of not being able to build that relationship? How do you still go beyond and above to build the connection you need to build to get in that field? So I'm just curious and it's a twofold question, the successful marketing plan, if there is such a template, and overcoming the fear of rejection that essentially prevents you from going forward, and it's something that you need to overcome to continue your growth.
Okay. On the marketing plan side, I would say the first thing you want to be is true to your values there. Again, know your customer, know that niche you want to fulfill. Then craft your mission, your vision, both of those things, where you want to be with your brand, and then everything should emanate from what that brand stands for. You want to build a brand along with your service, and just stay clean with that all along, whether it's distribution, the publications, or the media that you're involved in, your alpha consumer that you are going to pamper and get them to wear the product. Or take the service, use the service, I guess. So everything has to be consistent, but it starts with how you're defining your particular brand of service. How do you overcome the rejection? You just keep going, knock on another door. You have the passion because you have the vision of what is the end result 5-10 years out, really where you can take this. Nobody else will have that passion. However, that passion becomes infectious. And somebody says no, you go fine, you knock on another door, and it's amazing how if you can find success elsewhere, that rejection you got is going to turn around and come back and be asking you to provide your service to them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. You've been doing this a long time, and I know you recently retired. But what do you think are the most significant lessons you learned in your 3 decades plus of being involved with Deckers that you can share with our audience tonight?
Well, first, do something you like to do. I think that's key. Beyond that, I mean, as an entrepreneur, it's seize the opportunity. You know, look for a hole that has not been filled yet and be the one to fill it. I'd say those are some of the key things. Be true to your values. Again, we've talked a lot about that. Surround yourself with people of similar values. Very important. And again, when it comes to branding, authenticity to me is something that you really need to do. Another thing that I would say, I think I spoke briefly about it, is leverage. Always, I can't say I've never been one to use leverage, but use it only for short term when you have a very good outlook of how you're going to be able to repay that. Because it's easy in an up environment, but in a tough economy, it becomes a stranglehold. It goes the opposite direction. You learn more in the down times than you do in the up times. And then I guess one final thing that as a public company, that I used to keep an equation on my whiteboard behind my desk. And the only thing I didn't erase, and it was that consistency equals predictability equals a higher PE ratio. And basically follow the model of consistent growth, be consistent in everything that you pursue. Don't try to spike it up and spike it down. Stay true to your plan, because the more consistent you are, the more reliable you are, the more predictable you are, the more people believe in you. So stay true to that.
So many other things that we can draw from that response. Thank you so much. What do you consider to be your biggest mistake and your greatest success in all your years at Deckers?
Well, again, the biggest mistake that I made was probably when we bought the 3 brands and we put them all under a centralized organization. That was definitely not the right move. On the Converse side, spreading them out, giving them all their, each one with their own mission statement, their own strategic plan, decentralizing the management, that was crucial. Again, remaining authentic wherever we were and treating employees like owners, giving them ownership.
And so do you think, you just mentioned that we're in the midst of a pretty tough recession right now. Businesses seem to be failing. Unemployment continues to be a problem for a lot of people. Does a company like Deckers alter its strategy during a recession, or does it stay true to its strategy during these difficult times?
No, actually Deckers is staying very true to its strategy. I think the one thing that continues is in a tough time like this, 2 things. You have to keep innovating, and all our brands are continuing to innovate. The other thing that we're using is basically, because of the strength of the brands that we have and the way they've been built, we tend to get more shelf space now. So we've got a lot of cash, so we keep the cash there in case there are opportunities, and there are going to be a lot of opportunities that'll come out in the next couple of years. Some budding young guys going to develop something, or ladies are going to develop something that's going to be very appealing, and they may want to jumpstart it, and we'll be there if it fits into our portfolio. So continuing to innovate. The message stays clear, don't deviate, and that's really the key thing.
And my final question tonight, Doug. Okay. I don't think anybody else has any questions. We do have one? I'm sorry, thank you. We do have one more question.
Okay.
My question is, what advice would you have to someone trying to balance raising a family and business ownership?
Again, I believe that the families involved in the business